MLB Award finalists have all been announced, and we have a lot to discuss.
We do. Let's jump right to it, yeah?
Yeah, where are we starting?
We're going to start with NL Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
All right. You got Brendan Donovan,
Okay.
the Cardinals, Michael Harris II, the Braves, and Spencer Strider, the Braves.
Man, what a class.
Is your pick?
The Braves, I think these guys are going to finish 1 and 2. Michael Harris II and Spencer Strider. I'm going to go with Spencer Strider here.
Oh, okay.
Spencer Strider, the fastest pitcher in history to 200 strikeouts in a single season. He did it in 130 innings, topping Randy Johnson, who did it in 130 2/3 innings. So by 2/3 of an inning, Spencer Strider has become the fastest pitcher in a single season in history to 200 strikeouts. He's so good, so nasty, and a big part of why the Braves were able to come back and win that division. For me, NL Rookie of the Year, Braves starting pitcher Spencer Strider.
All right, well, let's move on to the AL Rookie of the Year nominees. We got Stephen Kwan, Julio Rodriguez, and Adley Rutschman. Who do you got?
No brainer.
Yeah.
The J-Rod show.
Yep.
Julio Rodriguez. What a year. The only rookie, so one of 3 rookies to go 25-25 in history, right? 25 home runs, 25 stolen bases. But on a technicality here, you can say he's the only one because he's the only rookie to ever do it in his debut season, which means when Mike Trout did it and Chris Young did it, they did it when they were still technically classified as a rookie that year after their debut. Julio Rodriguez did it in his debut season. So many accolades. He's the only rookie this year to make it to an All-Star game. One of only 3 Mariners rookies to make the All-Star game as a rookie, joining Alex Rodriguez and Ken Griffey Jr.
Whoa.
This guy is a superstar. This rookie class this year was phenomenal. I'd be remiss if I don't mention Jeremy Pena.
That was
not
my
being
biggest...
a finalist.
Yeah. How?
Look, these other names on here, Stephen Kwan, Adley Rutschman, great. But look, the Rookie of the Year, all of these awards are a regular season award, right? So him winning the CS MVP and the World Series MVP, as in Jeremy Pena, doesn't factor into this. But I don't understand. We were talking about him all year. He was phenomenal all year long in the role that he stepped in front of Carlos Correa, or after Carlos Correa. The year he had, I believe Jeremy Pena should be on this list of finalists. And it speaks volumes to the nominees this year and to how good the rookie class was, because Bobby Witt Jr. wasn't even on this list. And there's 5 guys that should legitimately be finalists, but none of them deserved to win it as much as Julio Rodriguez. He had an all-time rookie year. He is a superstar, and I called it before the season. Julio Rodriguez is going to be a superstar in this game, and I believed he was going to win Rookie of the Year, and he did.
Yeah. Well, he might. For you.
He might.
Yes.
Might. Of all, I will.
All.
Good catch there. Yeah. But of all of them, I feel like he has the best,
greatest chance.
The greatest chance.
Okay. Well, let's move to Manager of the Year, starting in the National League. You got Dave Roberts, Dodgers, Buck Showalter, Mets, and Brian Snitker, Braves.
This Manager of the Year, these are tough.
I know.
I'm going to take Buck Showalter here.
Ooh, okay.
Now, I'm going to take Buck because, one, they won 101 games.
Okay.
They were great. This is his first year there. Every year, the Mets end up metting, correct? Well, this year, the Mets didn't met until the playoffs. And guess what?
They met it the last week of the regular season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
But they still won 101 games, right?
Okay.
They were great. They won. They end up not winning the division, but they get in. It's one of only a few times they've won over 100 games in their history. I believe Buck Showalter is a big reason, a big part of that. And I forget who said it. I know Keith Hernandez mentioned it when he came on, but I don't believe it was his words. But he said, of all the acquisitions for the Mets in the offseason, arguably the biggest is Buck Showalter.
Yeah, definitely. I agree
And
with
we
that.
saw what he meant to that team. They were really good. Obviously, it did come crumbling down at a certain point. All they needed to do was win one game against the Atlanta Braves, and they win the division, and then they don't even have to play the Padres early on. But guess what? It happened. Does not take away from the year that they had, the regular season they had, and how good Buck Showalter was. I'm going to take him. Look, Dave Roberts on the National League side, they were supposed to win as many games as they did and win the NL West. And Brian Snitker, God, this was tough. But I liked Buck Showalter. I think he went.
That's fine. Sometimes you just got to pick it. All right, let's move to the American League. You have Terry Francona, the Guardians, Brandon Hyde with the Orioles, and Scott Service with the Mariners. Who you got?
Dusty Baker should be on this list.
Ooh, okay. Immediate.
Well, if you're going to have Dave Roberts on it on the National League side,
Yeah.
a team that was supposed to be the 1 seed and was the 1 seed. The Astros were supposed to be the 1 seed, and they were the 1 seed. Like, how do you not put him on there? I don't know.
He also won the World Series, so.
Correct.
Yeah.
Ended up winning the World Series, which obviously doesn't count, but still, like, feels like an omission to not have him on. My winner for American League Manager of the Year, Brandon Hyde of the Orioles. Let me feed you a few numbers here, Alex.
Okay.
The Baltimore Orioles were projected to win 62 and a half games in 2022. That was their projection heading into the year. 62 and a half. They went 83 and 79, over 500, finished 3 games out of a playoff spot. The first team out of the playoffs on the American League side. What a year for them. Truly unbelievable. They surpassed their expected win total by 20 games. You never see that happening. A big part of that is the rookies that they believed in, that they called up, they flipped a switch, and Brandon Hyde deserves so much credit. A lot of these, the manager decision is going to be tough, but for me, I would go with Brandon Hyde for what he was able to do with a team that had no business being where they finished up.
Yeah, that was impressive. So that's a good call there.
Thank you.
Let's move on to Cy Young. We're going to start in the National League.
Okay.
You got Sandy Alcantara, Max Fried, and Julio Urias. Who you got?
I got Sandy Alcantara.
Okay.
What a year. This is the definition of a workhorse. He had by far the most complete games of anybody this year. He was nasty. Sandy Alcantara established himself as a bona fide workhorse of an ace this season. And I think this is going to be a runaway. I think this could be a unanimous first place for Sandy Alcantara. That's how good he was. You don't see many pitchers like him anymore in the game of baseball. Guys that are continually pitching into the 8th, 9th inning of baseball games. And he did it better than everybody else. And he did it at an incredible pace. And he did it with a ridiculously low ERA. I can't say enough about the year he had, and he deserves his first NL Cy Young Award.
I feel like you're going to be this passionate about the next group, the American League Cy Young nominees. Dylan Cease, Alek Manoah, and Justin Verlander.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
my winner here is Justin Verlander, and I do believe he wins his 3rd Cy Young Award. And, I was talking to Justin today, literally on my way in to record this episode, and just telling him how proud I was of him for this season, because I remember a little over a year ago, Justin and I were talking after he threw a baseball for the first time after his surgery, right? Just back throwing. And then we would talk after he threw off of a mound for the first time. And then we were talking after his first game in spring training. And then all of these boxes to check off. Justin ended up having one of the greatest seasons of all time. One of the greatest seasons of all time. Perhaps his greatest season of all time when he's an MVP award winner as a pitcher in 2011. He ended up with a 1.79 ERA. 1.79. The only pitcher in baseball with an ERA under 2. That's how good he was. And this season all led up to him pitching in the World Series, getting his first World Series win, winning the World Series with the Astros. I know none of that counts for the award. You want to talk regular season stats, you're not going to find any better than Justin's year this year. And for it to come after 2 years of not pitching in the big leagues, it's truly remarkable that we're here talking about this. My pick for American League Cy Young Award is Justin Verlander. Now, before we move on, because I'm giving updates when I feel like pitchers should be on here.
Okay.
Shohei should be a finalist here.
Interesting.
Shohei Ohtani should be a finalist for the AL Cy Young Award. I don't think he should win, but he should be on here. He was remarkable. He was dominant. He created a new pitch for himself in the middle of the year, and it was great. He had a low ERA. His advanced stats are disgusting. Shohei should be on here, but my pick overwhelmingly, and I'm hopeful is unanimous, is Justin Verlander for AL Cy Young.
Well, good news for you. You'll be able to dive into Shohei in just a moment here. All right.
Oh.
Yeah. So
we'll
we're
see.
going to talk MVPs.
You don't know my pick yet.
Yeah. Funny. You say that. All right. Let's start with the National League MVPs. Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, and Manny Machado. Who you got?
I got Paul Goldschmidt. Not a great September for him or playoffs, but he was Mr. Consistent all year long until the very end. He was incredible. He just won a Hank Aaron Award for best hitter in the National League, which Aaron Judge won on the American League side of things. So congrats to those guys. Just a great year. And he's also going to play in the World Baseball Classic. Excited to watch him there. This one for me, I think he wins National League MVP, and I don't think it's particularly close. That was how good he had. He's come in second before. He's come in third before. It's been a matter of time, and he did it this year. I think he gets it done for the Cardinals and wins them an MVP award.
All right, well, let's move to the American League, which is probably one of the more heated discussions down the last month of the regular season and into the postseason. The AL MVPs, Yordan Alvarez, Aaron Judge, and Shohei Ohtani.
What a great group.
What a
great group here. My winner for American League MVP is Shohei Ohtani. And for me, this is pretty simple. And it has nothing to do with the year that Aaron Judge had. Aaron Judge had an all-time year. It was one of the greatest offensive seasons we have ever seen. But Shohei Ohtani is the most valuable player. You can't get more valuable than what Shohei is to a team. You look at the league, you look at the team leaders. If you go look at the Angels team leaderboard, it's just Shohei everywhere you look.
Yep.
It's incredible. If you want to break down what is most valuable to a team, it's a guy like Shohei that takes up one spot on the roster and can be your ace and can be your best hitter. It's that simple. And I could go on for days and days and days about this, but
you did.
I did, and I will continue to. I don't believe Shohei is going to win the award. I believe Aaron Judge is going to win the MVP award. But it's not my vote. And Shohei last year had the greatest season we've ever seen, and he topped that this year because of how good he was on the mound. And then he's, after a slower start offensively, he was good offensively and dominant on the mound. If you're starting a team tomorrow and you have the first overall pick and you need to be successful for 1 year, you're taking Shohei because he's two guys. There's no argument for me. Shohei Ohtani, and here's an argument against him. What is he just going to win the MVP award every year because he's a pitcher and a hitter? Nope, absolutely not. But every year he does this, every year he's elite on the mound and great at the plate, absolutely he should win the most valuable player award. There's no doubt in my mind. He is The most valuable. Now, congratulations to Aaron Judge and the season that he had, because it was great. It was unbelievable. And if anybody is going to take away an MVP award from Shohei and what he did this year, it's going to be Aaron Judge because of what he did and how great it was. It wouldn't be my vote, but I understand that he is most likely going to win the award, and you will not hear me talk bad about the year he had, because how could you? It was remarkable. Shohei's my MVP. Shohei's my American League MVP. Shohei's my MVP of all of baseball. He has been so great for the game. He has transformed the game. He has transformed the viewership to baseball. He has brought eyes that have never watched baseball before, because they hear that this modern day Babe Ruth is playing the game. He is. And the reason Shohei isn't going to win MVP is because he plays on a team that's not very good, and that's not his fault. If you take Aaron Judge and put him on the Angels, and you take Shohei Ohtani and you put him on the Yankees, the Angels still stink. And the Yankees are still a really good baseball team. It's frustrating. One player can't carry a team. I know Shohei's frustrated about it. I know he's frustrated about this season and the Angels not being very good. But he's not going to win MVP because of the team that he plays on. That doesn't sit well with me. He's the most valuable player in the game of baseball, and he's the greatest talent that we have ever seen. And after a year that he one-upped his unanimous MVP award, he should be MVP again.
Yep.
Agreement?
Oh, yeah. Hands down. He's doing things we've never seen before in the game of baseball. And if you are creating records for yourself and for the game, it's hard to wrap your head around how you're not considered the most valuable player to the game of baseball.